Okay, so now I'd like for you to take me through actually looking at some specific sites and pricing for the specific zombie party if you're up for it.
Sure. Yeah. So I think what we should look at first is sort of face painting and makeup artists
Sure.
because this is something we deal with a lot. Oftentimes we'll hire somebody to be at the actual party doing that for people.
All right.
So that's be a Twin Cities search, a makeup artist, Twin Cities. We've developed relationships, but for the sake of this interview, it might be good to just show you how you go about this when you're going in cold to find somebody specific. Yeah, so exactly, there we go. This is a local person. Okay, so this is a great example. This is somebody who is willing to take on lots of different work, and someone you can work with individually. So we look at the examples first, sort of go through what they're capable of doing. Obviously, this person's talented and can really get the kitschiness of it. We'll go to the services here. So this is more common than you think. There are people who are willing to engage in parties of this magnitude where they can sort of flex their style. And you can find people like this who do food too, and cakes and things like that. So yeah, you can just go to questions, see what they're capable of providing. And once you have the information you need, which it looks like this person is willing to take on individual kinds of business transactions, we'd go up a little bit here, check the rate. So we got $75 to $125 per hour, which is actually a relatively fair price, considering they're bringing their own equipment and they're doing something at your own sort of leisure. We can do 10 to 12 faces within an hour, which is really good. That's fast. But look, this person is already accepting the fact that she's going to be engaged in a party that you're setting up, so that's great. Then we'll go to contact, and we'll actually, on this situation, looks like there's a specific booking form. So we do my name.
And you don't actually have to submit. I know that you will be going through this yourself.
Sure. I won't go through the whole thing here, but
but
usually this is what you get. People who are engaged with the actual nature of a party, they're going to have something like this that lets you contact them easily. But then in my message, I would sort of say something like, we are, just mention the fact that we're representing a client, that we're in fact our own business, and that we're sort of outsourcing this job to this specific individual, and then give them our contact, and then we would be in direct contact with that person, not the client. So we would deal with them one-on-one and then bring their needs to the client, because that's part of our value, is this liaison position where we'll organize all of the different avenues. So we'll fill this booking form out, but then what I like to do is actually call or interface directly and say, hey, this is what we do, this is who we are, this is what we're about. Set them up with our LinkedIn, have them track down our professional sort of track record so they can see what we do. And that way we develop a relationship with them, and we can work with them again in the future.
Okay, great. And then for something like, let's see here, we got the catering down, we've got the face painting down. For something like invitations, would you generally send out an evite for the party, or would you leave that up to the people hosting the party? Would you be in contact with people about the design for the invitations or things like that?
Yeah, I mean, again, a big part of what we do is leaving it in the hands of the client so they can dream up whatever they want and then making it happen when they decide. So sometimes they have an idea of an evite. Sometimes they want a hard copy invitation, which in some cases our in-house artists, the aesthetic person I talked about earlier, will actually take that on individually, design something, screen print it, and then send it out, and then sort of develop a bill for how much that costs.
Cool.
Yeah, it's really cool, and it's in-house, so like we can sort of hedge our costs there, and kind of understand how much time it's actually taking and things like that. But other times we just do it online. It depends on how extensive the client wants to be. And then that's just sort of a standard evite situation.
Great. All right. And then for keeping track of what the cost is of the party and things like that. Do you pay for things with a company card and then keep receipts, or how do you do that? Do you ask for the client's credit card number and just pay directly?
The former is exactly how we do it. We have a company account that we then are sort of all responsible for, and we use that account for our expenses, and then we pool into it a percentage of whatever our profits are. So we just have an account that's separate from our individual expenses, and if we do have to expense something, we just save the receipt and then deal with that.
Perfect. Thanks.
My pleasure.